I rise today to commend the communities of the Minnesota's Red River Valley for their extraordinary flood mitigation efforts this year. Spring flooding in the Red River Valley is an enormous challenge to my constituents in Moorhead and in surrounding communities and in communities downstream. Last year, these communities experienced record flooding with snowmelt draining into the Red River and resulting in over 40 feet of water filling the valley. The families of the Red River Valley saw severe overland flooding, resulting in the devastation of their homes, road closures, and the cutting off of transportation in and out of the area. This year, the Red River Valley is getting ready for what is again forecast to be a major flood. Right now, the National Weather Service is forecasting a 90% chance of major flooding of over 35 feet. I spent this past weekend in Moorhead, Minnesota, and surrounding communities and communities downstream, meeting with local leaders and talking to folks on the ground getting ready for the flooding. Their flood preparation efforts this year are truly impressive. The city of Moorhead and Clay County have been acquiring houses in the floodplain and moving them out of harm's way. As a result, Moorhead is going to need 1/3 fewer sandbags this year compared to last year. Now, volunteers are already at work sandbagging, getting ready to fortify the levees. I went to the Moorhead facility building this weekend to bag sandbags. You do that inside. These things you can't freeze. The sandbags can't freeze. It'd be like stacking frozen turkeys. They have to be unfrozen when you stack them. The sense of community solidarity in tackling this challenge is incredible, and I was struck by how much the community is unified once again around preparing for these floods, and it was fun. So I would urge folks in the area to go down to the Moorhead facility building in the next few days and weeks and sandbag. Now, what I took away from being there this weekend and from talking to local leaders and community members is that they're doing all that they can to prepare for these floods with the resources that they have. But they need our help here in Congress. I am determined to make sure that we are doing all that we can on a federal level to help these communities through the next few months. Right now, Congress needs to appropriate supplemental funding for FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund. FEMA has said that they are reserving their remaining disaster relief funds for immediate needs until we appropriate the supplemental funding. Yet the longer we wait, the longer communities in the Red River Valley have to wait on important flood mitigation efforts like removing the remaining homes from the floodplain. I have contacted the FEMA administrator, urging him to exhaust all available options while Congress approves the president's request of $5.1 billion in supplemental funding for the Disaster Relief Fund. I stand ready to support Chairman Inouye in any of his efforts on this or any other bill on the floor to approve these $5.1 billion in supplemental funding. Once again, I commend the communities in Minnesota's Red River Valley for their flood mitigation preparations for this year. As the ice melts and the water rises, I will continue to fight to get federal funding out to these communities, make sure we're doing all that we can to support them in their flood preparations and in their recovery over the coming months. Thank you, Mr. President, and I will yield the floor.